What's up, KFG family? It's your boy Bill John 25 minutes, and I'm gonna do my AEW review and highlights for you guys. New hit that like button, hit that red button. Let's get started. AEW was a good show. That's just my opinion. The show opens with a video package telling the story of John Moxley turning down Chris Jericho's offer to join the Inner Circle and then becoming the number one contender to challenge him for the AEW World Championship at the upcoming AEW Revolution pay-per-view later this month. From there, we shoot live inside the Von Barnes Center in Huntsville, Alabama, where the AEW Dynamite announcers team welcomes us to this week's show. After that, the theme song of John Moxley hits inside the arena as the number one contender to the AEW World Title makes his usual entrance through the crowd. The ring announcer begins his pre-match introductions as Justin Roberts formally introduced us to John Moxley. He will be going one-on-one against Ortiz of the Pound and Powerful duo from Chris Jericho's Inner Circle. After Ortiz comes down to the ring, accompanied by his tag team partner Santana, before anything can happen, Chris Jericho's Fozzy entrance music plays as the fans are shown singing along as the remaining numbers of the Inner Circle heads towards the square circle. The bell sounds as Chris Jericho takes his seat alongside JR and Cole on commentary. He reminds him that he wants to be ringside for every Moxley match leading up to AEW Revolution. As Jericho settles on guest commentary, having some fun with Tony Schiavone expands. The action gets underway in the ring, with Moxley jumping off to an early lead. Ortiz finally takes over after blasting the one-eye bad you-know-what with an insecurity to the dome. The fight spills out to the floor, with Ortiz whooping Moxley back fist into the ringside barricade. He runs him across the length of the ring and whips him into the ring steps. The fans boo as Moxley sells his injured eye being further hurt. The fans breaks out and Ortiz sucks chant as Moxley rolls back into the ring to eat more punishment. Ortiz gets in some high spots and some near falls, but when all is said and done, the Pound and Powerful member walks directly into the Pentagon Ship DDT for the number one contender that ends his evening. The winner of the match, John Moxley. After the match, the Inner Circle and Moxley battle continues. Once the match ends, Moxley music plays as he stares over at Jericho at the announcer table. Jericho talks trash while standing up from his seat to show his AEW World Championship. Moxley is attacked from behind by Santana until he fights his way back and takes out the tag team partner of the man he just beat to kick off this week's show. From there, Moxley reaches into his pocket and pulls out a set of keys, with Jericho on the commentary complaining about it being the keys to his car. Moxley then takes the key and does the eye for an eye, as the one eye injured. Moxley scrapes at the eye of the Inner Circle member before fleeing through the crowd, stopping briefly to gloat towards the upset Inner Circle members standing on from the ring. The fans chant Moxley, Moxley as replay are showing of what just transpired. We return live and the medics are attending to Santana, Chuck Taylor, and Trent with Orange Cassidy versus Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. After the announcers run down some of the matches scheduled for tonight, we get ready to head to our first commercial break for the evening. Before we do, we heard the familiar music of the Best Friends. Out comes Orange Cassidy along with Chuck Taylor and Trent Jr. From us. That tag team action is up next. We return from the break and see so-called uncensored SCU, the former first ever AEW World Tag Team Champions, as Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky head to the ring while the announcers speculate on Christopher Daniels' status with SCU and then the recent happening with the Dark Order. Kazarian and Trent kick things off with the respective teams. The two mat wrestlers at bit with Kazarian jumping off the early offensive. Lee JR puts over Scorpio Sky, a huge hug on commentary as the action picks up and he gets tagged into the bout. All four guys end up going at it in the ring, with two brawling their way out to the floor and at ringside. Sky hits a huge German suplex to Trent on the floor. Chuck runs over with a flipping neck breaker on Kazarian. This leads to Orange Cassidy coming walking over the voluntary laying down along with the other four who are selling the moves they just pulled off or got hit with. On the note, we had to a mid-match commercial. When we return from commercial, the announcers inform us that the aforementioned German suplex on the floor may have resulted in a stinger for one of the four competitors involved in this contest. The fans breaks out into "This is awesome" chant as the match appears to be drawn close to a finish. Sky runs in to help break up the finisher attempt by the best friends. After Chuck and Trent do the big dramatic hug for the big pop from the fans. The winners of this match, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. This match was fantastic. Alright, after the match, the Dark Order strikes. I cannot get right behind the Dark Order. I can't. After the match, the Dark Order immediately hits the ring and starts beating down everything that moves, and they ultimately clear the ring of any non-Dark Order members. Now Orange Cassidy approaches them as cool as a cucumber, as usual, as the fans chant, "Freshly squeezed." He did a big dramatic hand gesture and elicits a pop from the fans, but also a firm whooping from the members of the Dark Order. Finally, the SCU Christopher Daniels sprints to the ring to make the save for Orange Cassidy, leading to the Dark Order retreating from the ring. Daniels taunts and tells the Dark Order if they want him, come and get him. He stands his ground as the Dark Order eventually heads to the back. Cody receives 10 lashes from MJF tonight. As the road to AEW Revolutions continues, the stipulation set by MJF to get the match agreed upon will begin playing out tonight. The Vintage Heirs promoting what is still to come tonight. Cody Rhodes received 10 lashes from Maxwell Jacob Friedman. After the video package wraps up, we see a pre-recorded interview with Taz from the parking lot of the Von Braun Center in Huntsville. Taz, who has known Cody his whole life, talks about how embarrassing it will be for Cody to take 10 lashes on live TV tonight. Dr. Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakisaki. This match was just god-awful. The AEW Women's Division is god-awful. Once the video package wraps up, Dr. Britt Baker makes her way to the ring as AEW Women's Singles action is up next. JR takes us to a commercial break. When we return from the break to see Yuka Sakisaki making her way to the ring. We are informed why she is called the Magical Queen, as the announcers kill time as she heads to the ring for what will be her AEW Dynamite debut. The bell sounds, and here we go. Baker immediately jumps off to an early offensive lead after the two exchange arm drags and locks to begin the action inside the ring. Yuka heads to the top rope to break up Baker's offensive run, leading the Pittsburgh Dennis rolling to the floor to regroup. Yuka is having none of that as the Magical Girl girl lives up to her name, soaring from the top rope and crashing into Baker on the floor at ringside. The fans break out into a chant of some kind as Yuka continues to outslaw back inside the ring now. Baker starts putting together a string of offense and moves and holds, seemingly approaching the finish as she looks to get Yuka with her lockjaw finisher. However, Yuka uses a bridge and turns the tables upsetting Baker and picking up the W in the process in her AEW Dynamite debut. The winner of the match, Yuka Saki. After the match, Baker curves on Yuka. Once the match is over, while Yuka celebrates in the ring, Baker rolls to the floor and grabs the ring bell. She re-enters the ring and bashes Yuka in the grill with it. She follows that up by setting Yuka up for easily a curve stomp, Seth Rollins' old finisher in WWE. For good measure, the cameras do a close-up as Yuka shows some of her teeth knocked out with blood pouring everywhere. Baker reapplies her lockjaw finisher and the cameras pan in on her now as she shows a sadistic grin while Yuka is shown wearing a bloody form. That was a brutal spot, but that match was just garbage. So does the AEW Women's Division. It just got awful. But anyway, let me continue. The Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Bros versus Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks. This match was awesome. The Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny makes their way to the ring. Our featured 8-man tag team bout that was set up on last week's AEW Dynamite shows up It's up next. After the entitled ring entrance, the Lucha Bros, Pentagon Jr., Ray Finch makes their way to the ring as the announcers hype up how good this match should be. They being the lead theme music plays as all four guys, the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson, along with the regaining AEW World Tag Team Champions Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, come to the ring together. Page walks to the ring by himself in a hurry while the other three shows solitarily and makes their way to the square circle in unsons. The bell sounds and Hangman and the Blade kick things off for their respective teams. Hangman jumps to an early lead and tags in Omega. Omega picks up where Hangman left off after some quick double team offense. Omega hits a high spot for a near fall and then takes the Blade to his corner of the ring where he tags in one of the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks tag each other in and out immediately. The Elite utilizing quick tags to keep fresh guys on the Blade and to keep their offense momentum on their side of the fence for this 8-man bout. A triple drop kick takes out the big man as all four guys from each team end up involving in a big brawl as the noise in the Von Braun Center grows. A huge Omega high spot from the top rope and takes out everyone on the floor as JR on commentary questions whether or not order will get restored in this contest. On that note, we head to the mid-match commercial. When we return from the break, we see the fight still out on the floor. Isn't it long, however, before Matt Jackson shines with some high spots in the ring, taking out several members of the opposition in impressive fashion. A big backstabber by Pentagon Jr. appears to turn the offense tide in the favor of the heel. foursome. A big high spot off the top rope from Pentagon Jr. hurts the leg of Omega. Now Ray Finch takes over, blasting one half of the AEW tag champs with a good old fashioned knuckle sandwich to the dome. Now the Butcher tags in and delivers some punishment before tagging the Blade. The two unties some double team offense before taunting the fans and their opponents on the ring apron. The fans try to rally Omega back into the match, and it starts working as the AEW EVP shows signs of life. Finally, Hangman Page takes a hot tag. The fans chant "Cowboy, you know what," and as he starts levering everyone that moves, including those outside the ring. Omega begins making his comeback, hitting a Snapdragon suplex and a big knees kick before tagging in one of the Young Bucks. The duo hits sliced bread as the fans race to their feet. Hangman Page, still being the third in the punch bowl of the group, tags himself in and takes it upon himself to commence kicking some heel booty as the fans cheer. And regardless, the Butcher with an elbow into the ear seems to break Hangman's momentum. However, he reverses another move attempt into a far away slam. He goes and nip up afterwards, but couldn't quite stand up out of it, so decided to sell an injury to his leg. Meanwhile, the Lucha Bros arrive on the scene in the ring, and both Pentagon Jr. and Ray Finch started flying all over the place. In the midst of the chaos, Finch sneaks in a pin out of nowhere Hangman Adam Page. The winner of the match, the Lucha Bros and the Butcher and the Blade. Backstage, the Bastard Pack continues to torture Kenny Omega. When we return from the break to see Tony Schiavone in the ring, ready to interview Kenny Omega. However, before he can say anything, we see the Bastard Pac appear on the big screen. He talks about how this was supposed to be a simple contract signing for a match. He tells Omega what is about to happen is on him, and he can stop anytime. All he has to do is accept his challenge for another fight. Finally, Omega featured Pac was going to attack the AEW Women's Champion Rio, who we see standing backstage as well. Shouts into the mic that he accepts the challenge. Pac then points out that he'll never plan to hit a woman, but she will. With that said, Nia Rose blasted Rio from behind. She attacks her and then yells into the camera that she's coming for her next week. Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford versus Joey Janela. Alright, from there we shoot back live inside the Von Braun Center in Huntsville, where Kip Sabian begins making his way to the ring, accompanied by Penelope Ford. Jim Ross takes us into a commercial break as they wrap up their entrance. We return from the break as the bad boy Joey Janela makes his way to the ring, while JR informs us on commentary that Huntsville is raining as you know what this evening. The Excalibur points out some matches that were just confirmed earlier in the show. The bell sounds, and here we go. These two just brought to start things off. Janela jumps off to an early offensive, running into a big kick to the back of Sabian's turn things weird. Sabian blasts a kick to Janela, turns the tables, and does the same. He then voluntarily sits down and dares him to do anything. Instead, Sabian just slaps and chokes on him and starts cinching in it. The fans help Janela rally back to his feet and fights out of the hole. Janela stops to pound anyway on Sabian with forearms and punches until overshooting a move on the ring apron. This slows things down and leads to Janela's head bouncing off the ring steps. I thought he broke his neck at first. But anyway, now Penelope Ford approaches Janela at ringside while Sabin has the referee distracted in the ring. Ford blasts the back of Janela's head into the steel steps and taunts the fans as we head to a match commercial. There was too many commercials, man. I didn't like it. Anyway, we return from the break to see Sabin with a crazy bridge suplex as Janela's legs were draped across the top rope. Janela begins his comeback and gets momentum going with a big dive onto to Sabin on the floor. He lost focus, getting distracted by Penelope Ford after being attacked by her early in the contest. This again leads to Sabin taking over control of the offense briefly, but not for long, as Janela recovers quickly from the cheap shot kick from Sabin. The fight finds its way back into the square circle now, with Janela looking insecure the 3 count, but not being able to keep Sabin down for the count. Sabin begins landing some big shots and moving, however, Janela nails a Death Valley driver type of slam for a near fall that turns the tables. We hear an update from the ring announcer informing us that 10 minutes have elapsed and then 10 minutes remain. Janela eats a DDT from Sabin, who goes over to kiss for. This time the distraction leads the finish as Janela takes Ford out with a jump into the ropes, knocking her to the floor with momentum. This provides a sympathy distraction from Janela, with Sabin taking advantage of it and rolling him up from behind for the win. The winner of the match, Kip Sabin. Backstage, Chris Jericho sends a message. Ortiz follows up. Backstage, we see Chris Jericho and the rest of the members of the Inner Circle addressing what Jon Moxley did earlier this evening, trying to take an eye for Ortiz out with one of Chris Jericho's car keys. Jericho rambles for a minute and then Ortiz eye patch and wrap around his head and all calls out Moxley for next week, colliding by saying, "You and I for an eye." The Dark Order commercial parade. Before we head back to another commercial break, we see a commercial looking vintage promoting the Dark Order. A quick AEW shout ad follows, then we head to a real break. Backstage, Elite Issues continues. We return from the break to see the Young Bucks arguing with Hangman Adam Page again. They conclude by saying that they think they know what the problem is. As they walk away, we see Page raising a frosty cold beer for a swing as the fans pop for his cowboy you-know-what attitude. The action coming up in AEW. We shoot to the commentators, who reveal an insane amount of gimmick matches and announces for next week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, AEW Revolution later this month, and the AEW Double or Nothing 2 pay-per-view in Las Vegas, Nevada is coming May. Dustin Rhodes on Cody Rhodes taking 10 lashes from MJF. We shoot to another earlier today pre-tape vintage touching on tonight's Cody takes 10 lashes from MJF segment. Per their AEW Revolution match stipulation, he reminds fans that his brother Cody is tougher than people might think. MJ gives Cody 10 lashes. From there, the familiar music of Maxwell Jacob, Fred Mann hits the house speakers as the lasers and lights began swirling around the Von Braun Center in Huntsville, while the announcer explained why Cody has has to endure all 10 lashes if he wants his match his match and chance to get his hands on MJF without getting in trouble at the AEW Revolution pay-per-view later this month. MJF wraps up his ring entrance as Jim Ross refers to him as the bull on the you-know-what of life. From there, Cody kicks you-know-what ring entrance takes place, and then 10 lashes segment is up now. We return from the break, and Cody is in the ring getting prepared to take 10 lashes from MJF. The unbuttons and removes his dress shirt as the fans waits quiet in the arena. Cody plays to the crowd trying to get some noise in the building. What appears to be the main event segment of this week's show. MJF tells everyone to hold on. He says his belt is far too nice to touch him. He says he wants Cody's belt now. He threatens to pull out of the AEW Revolution match if he doesn't, as the fans chant, you know what, at him. Finally, Cody upglides. MJF blasts Cody with the first smack, then the sound. And the third begins Cody to one knee, and then two as he leans on the ropes to absorb the pain. We see multiple AEW stars come out to witness this in person. Cody's manager / coach Arn Anderson eventually makes his way down to ringside. Anderson gets close to Cody and tells him he doesn't have to do this. MJF kicks at him to make him step back. He yells that Arn can't help Cody with this one. The fans chant for Cody, who calmly stands awaiting his remaining 7 lashes. And in comes numbers 4. Cody sells this one for a minute, while MJF gets down and yells in Cody's face, daring him to quit. This gets Cody back to his feet to play the crowd, which number 5 comes in with a vengeance. Now Cody's brother Dustin sprints to the ring through the crowd of wrestlers watches from the entrance stage. Dustin tries offering himself up to take the remaining 5 lashes, but MJF isn't having it. He tells Dustin to get out of his ring and watches like everybody else. Dustin walks over to give Cody the one final message before exiting the ring. MJF smashes Cody with 2 back-to-back lashes, leaving 3 more. MJF taunts Cody as Arn and Dustin try to provide verbal encouragements from ringside. Now Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks, push past the crowd watching on. They approach Cody, who has now rolled out to the floor in pain. He pounds the mat to hype himself up and gets back into the ring. Cody stands and waits for his final 3. MJF gets in his face instead. Cody, knowing he can't touch MJF, is seen with anger as he waits for his final lashes. Finally, one more comes and follows by MJF loudly yelling, "Stay down, you know what." Cody is selling that one big time as the announcers talk about some of the lyrications and wells he has sustained as a result of lashes with the leather belt. Finally, he stops in his tracks and does the just bring it gesture to MJF. He waits for his final TW, and now Wardlow takes his coat off. It looks like he's going to deliver the final 2. Dustin, who offers to take the lashes for him, yells from the floor that he's not allowed to have someone else to deliver them. Regardless, Wardlow winds up and steps into a big shot, blasting Cody with a with a really solid shot that floors him. Close up from the camera shows Cody's back and arms starting to turn as red as his skin, with blood showing spots as wet welts. Laceration turning up in others. Cody lays there hurting while his wife Brandy Rose now approaches the ring. She gets closer enough to encourage Cody, telling him he only has one more to take, and promising him that he can do this. The fans make some noise as Cody returns to his feet. As soon as he does his turn around into the 10th and final lash with the belt, Cody is beaten to a bloody, swollen pulp, but he did it. Warlow sneaks in a cheap shot and sprints away, and as he and MJF heads to the back through the crowd. This announcer points out that MJF's demurral is one of being enraged and upset, thinking there was no way Cody could endure this. That would mean the end of their match. At AEW Revolution. However, Cody pulls through and the fight is still on. That will do it for this week's episode of AEW Dynamite as the cameras pan the crowd on one final time as JR takes us off the air. All I gotta say is AEW was a good show. The match is still going on. Cody Rhodes versus MJF. Can't wait to see that match, man. But anyway, AEW was a good show. But let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think of AEW, man. And I know SmackDown is going to be garbage, man, because I'm not excited for SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. But let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think of AEW Dynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The links will be in the description. I will see you guys Friday on SmackDown review and highlights. Talk to you guys later, and I'm out of here. And drop a like on this video.